When I was a young Turk in business back at P&G, Procter& and Gamble, I used to work till 11, 12 o'clock at night, and then be there again at 7:30 in the morning. And I and John Pepper, who worked together, he went on to be chairman of the board at P&G. We used to work every night, and we both worked for a guy named Tom Lako, who was just a prince of a human being, and he'd see us working like crazy, and every once in a while he would go home. He typically would go home a lot earlier, like 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. And one day he stopped at my desk and leaned over. He said, "Go to it. More power to you." He said, "But I'd be even more impressed with somebody who could get all that work done in 8 hours rather than 15 or 16. And I'm going home to play with my kids and my horses. But you do what you want, Lee." And he was the first person who really taught me by the way he lived that you can be not only a good success in business or your profession, but a good person and have a full life. And that was really the first time I saw that, because before I thought I'll get success and then I'll get a life. Once I'm successful, I can then decide what's important for me. And he started that whole process for me. That was an epiphany. Yeah. In terms of people who were important, think of the quote from Abraham Lincoln, who said, "Everything I am or ever hope to become, I owe entirely to my mother." And growing up in government housing projects in Gary, a tough steel town in the Midwest, and my father was gone in the war, so it was just my mom and me. She was a very tough, demanding kind of disciplinarian who had her own view of what kind of son she wanted. She wanted a perfect son for her reasons. She had a bunch of sisters who'd all married well, and she hadn't, and she was going to show them up by the son that she brought up. And she really was very, very tough on me. Like one time I saw somewhere that there were Mickey Mouse wristwatches. I said, "I want to have one. Can I have a Mickey Mouse wristwatch?" She said, "No." And I kept pestering, doing what kids do. Finally, she got tired of it, and she said, "All right, Buster," which was what she'd call me when she was fed up with me. She said, "You're going to get your Mickey Mouse wristwatch, but you don't know how to tell time, so you're not going to get it until you can tell time." And she sat me down. I was maybe 4.5 years old. And sat me down in the middle of the living room floor, and she cut out a cardboard circle, put the numbers on it, and punched a hole in the middle to put arms on it, hands for the clock. And she said, "You learn how to tell time." She said, "I'm not going to sit there and teach you. I'll answer any questions you have, but I'm just going on about my day. It's your job to learn to tell time, and you're not leaving that spot till you do." And I sat there for 2 or 3 days asking questions and trying to figure stuff out. The only time I could get up was to go to the bathroom and then come right back. And I learned how to tell time, and she gave me the watch, And that was really pretty indicative of how she raised me. Was you could do pretty much whatever you want, but you got to be willing to pay the price.